Welcome to Food and Loathing, your weekly dose of foodie FOMO, where we tell you about all the delicious things you could be eating in the hope of inspiring you to get off your ass and explore the local restaurant scene here in Las Vegas. When I say we, I'm talking about myself, Al Mancini, a veteran food writer who was once the rebellious raised middle finger of the Las Vegas culinary world, forcing my way into the refined and elegant kitchens of Las Vegas. But I've now aged into just one more old man fighting to remain relevant in a young person's restaurant world. Yeah, laugh if you want, it happens to everybody. All I can promise you is to try very hard to refrain from becoming a grumpy old curmudgeon shaking his fist at anything I don't understand. This town already has enough of them. And oh yeah, I'm also the creator of the Neon Feast online restaurant guide.
That's right.
My co-host is Samantha Gemini Stevens, also a Las Vegas food writer, but she's considerably younger and hipper than I am. And she's the editor-in-chief of neonnews.vegas, where you can find some nice recaps of some of the interviews we do on this podcast, as well as a weekly column by the one and only Bob Barnes.
Yeah.
And some other things going on over there. So welcome, Gemini.
Thanks.
Twisting our knobs, sliding our faders, and monitoring our modulation. The man who puts the gin in engineer. Working behind the scenes in Chicago, at least until we can convince him to ditch the snow and return to Las Vegas. The one, the only, not here to speak for himself, Rich Johnson.
We love you, Rich.
Gemini, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. You know, it's and people will be hearing this the Thursday, Friday after Thanksgiving, so everybody's going to be stuffed. I'm actually getting ready for Thanksgiving. We are right now as we do this.
What are you doing for the holiday?
I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge for about 12 hours.
Good for you.
I'm going to fly to San Francisco, going to have dinner with my brother out there, which will be great, and a lot of his friends. Unfortunately, my family, who are supposed to be in town right now, my parents, I should say, are supposed to be here right now and supposed to go out there. They're not going to be joining us. So, yeah, Dad's a little under the weather. Can't travel. But so we're wishing him the best.
Absolutely.
But I hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving wherever they did it. And I hope my flights got me home safely by now. What are you doing?
I will be driving down from southwestern Washington on Thanksgiving Day. So I'm going to be spending the weekend pulling a trailer and trying to avoid all the bad weather.
Yeah, you're like doing all kinds of crazy moving and temporary relocations.
Yeah, renting out the house up there. So I want to get some of the stuff out of there. We're going to do it partially furnished. So now I have to brave Thanksgiving traffic and weather with a trailer full of crap.
Oh, fuck that. People always wonder, like, why am I going to San Francisco for one day or for 12 hours?
I do it all the time. And that's home for me.
It's an easy trip, but also flying on Thanksgiving Day.
It's great.
Is the best.
Yeah. Nobody's ever there.
Flying any time, like, other than the 12-hour window that I'm flying in, that's like the sweet spot for flying both ways. But then afterwards, it turns into a goddamn nightmare, and I sit in my house around Thanksgiving.
Whenever I traveled like that for Thanksgiving, I always left the morning of. Screw it.
Yeah, fuck it, man. I don't need traffic. Nope. I don't need airport bullshit. No, man. I get in, I'll get out. So, hey, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. We are not doing a Thanksgiving show this week. A lot of times we have people sharing Thanksgiving stories, but I wasn't up for that. We got some other cool things coming up.
We'll make it
up
up
the next few weeks.
for Christmas and all the food holidays coming up, because there's some really good ones.
Yeah, actually, next week's show, we're going to be doing a rundown of as many of the holiday pop-ups that we can round up interviews for people for. So I've already got 6 or 7, I think, in the can. Actually, maybe 5 or 6 in the can right now. Trying to get a few more. Hopefully Anthony Jameson will give me a call back, because how do you do that without talking to him?
You got to talk about Miracle.
So I hope we get him. But yeah, so we're going to have that for you all next week. So tune in next week and you'll hear all about where you can get your Christmas drunk on. Yeah. Your holiday drunk.
And we'll summarize it on the news site as well, because that's information that needs to be shared.
Yes. But this week, a great show for you. At the center of the episode, a nice long conversation with the legendary Philadelphia chef Marc Vetri, recorded at his local flagship, Vetri Cocina, atop the Palms. And we will speak to him about that restaurant as well as his more casual local spots. Osteria Fiorella in Red Rock and Fiorella Pasta Bar in the Durango Resort. We also chat with Andy Wang of L.A.'s Industry Only at his Race Week Dine Around at Resorts World's IU Day Club. And we'll speak to Palate Sterling Buckley at his restaurant's very first puppy hour.
Oh, how fun.
And then Jason Rochelot. No, you know what? I don't know if we're going to have Jason Rochelot on today. So skip that one. My apologies, Jason. I don't think we got that in the can. So sorry, but hopefully we'll have him on very shortly. You have some news on what's going on at Amari, though, later in this show. And and of course we have news.
Absolutely.
But first, we like to tell you a bit about where we've been eating, hoping to hit on something that will whet your appetite and inspire you to spend a bit more time exploring the local restaurant scene. Gemini, you want to get us started this week?
Sure. You know, I want to both apologize and also just mention again, we had the folks from Ciao Vino on the show a couple of weeks ago. I got invited to the wine dinner, so I went to that, and I never talked about it, and I felt really bad. I took a bunch of pictures, so I just want to say, if you haven't been over there yet, get over there. Their wine list is incredible. The pairings that they chose were amazing. Even if you're just dining in on a random, let's say Tuesday or Wednesday night, they can still help you set everything up. I really enjoyed the handmade pastas. I like that they're kind of on the al dente side. That's kind of my preference. All the veg was really fresh. The fish was really good. The sauce work was amazing. So just really great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing it. And I really want to see what else they can do because it was a really good partnership.
Yeah, Ciao Vino again is over in Boca Park.
Yep.
The old Bella Vita space.
Yep, big yellow Italian-looking building.
Yeah, and it's run by that new player on the block, Huckle Hospitality, that are doing a bunch of things here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So, yes, and great chefs over there.
Absolutely.
Our
So,
friend Lupe Avila running the culinary program for that whole company.
Yeah, and then I got to see you. We went to the Flanker Christmas pop-up.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit. We got most of it. We're saving for next week.
Yep.
I did so many fucking pop-ups in the last week.
I know.
The early Christmas. I mean, yeah, it's like we've already done Christmas, right?
Right?
Like, I actually left the Flanker pop-up with you and then went to another one.
Yeah.
Right after that. So that's cool. We had fun over there, though. We got to see Santa.
Yep, we got to see Santa. I talked to him for a little bit, standing there drinking my wine. I got to sit on his lap. Really just great setup. I just want to encourage people to go check it out. It opened officially Monday the 25th. So if you're listening to this on Friday, it's been open for about a week. And they've got some really fun cocktails, some really cool decor. Just go and enjoy. The people there are really awesome.
And of course, Flanker is a sports bar restaurant at heart, and there's games on everywhere. Even during Christmas
And if you're not sure where that is, that's at the Shops at Mandalay Bay. It's downstairs in the old RM Seafood spot. Right when you're walking out of Mandalay by the escalators and everything, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
So then we had friends in town. I went over to EDO Tapas. Of course, those are our friends Oscar and Roberto that have Anima, and I know they're working on a third concept over in that community or civic center, whatever it's called, where Bramare and Cleaver and Tacos and Beer on Paradise.
By Hughes, Hughes Parkway.
So they have a new tasting menu out. I had friends in town who hadn't been in years. So we went out. Of course, we got all the upgrades. So we got, this special bikini they were doing. If you haven't had the bikini at either restaurant, it's a very, very thin pressed crispy sandwich. It's fantastic. Great cheeses, some truffle, some herbs. We had the truffled egg with a spuma right out of the shell with the caviar on top.
That's awesome.
We had a foie gras dish. They brought me a green tartare at one point because they did a sort of ceviche dish. And if I have undercooked lobster or shrimp, I can have an allergic reaction. If it's cooked, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. So I wear gloves to clean it at home, and then it's cooked, I'm fine.
Right.
So, but they brought me a green tartare because that's on my allergies list on making reservations. So they had that forethought. I really appreciate that. They brought out these like hem-on pillows with this slightly savory cream inside. I think it was everybody's favorite. You had to be careful eating it though, because the bread pillow, almost like a beignet, was so beautifully thin that if you didn't have control over it, you were going to spill it on your shirt for sure. They brought out the duck ramen. Do you remember the duck ramen when it used to be? It was a secret burger special pop-up years ago. And the noodles are made out of mushrooms.
But I do not remember eating it.
It was so good. So it's this really deep duck broth. There's some meat in there. The noodles are not noodles. They're mushrooms. The broth is super clear, but still, like I said, super flavorful. Absolutely loved it. They brought out this like seafood paella risotto mix. It wasn't kind of either one. It was sort of in the middle. Really liked the cook on the rice. Everything was super fresh. And we had Peruvian scallops. I mean, these are just some of the things we had. I think we pretty much had the tasting menu and half of the regular menu.
Yeah. Their tasting menus are the way to go, both at EDO Tapas and also at Anima by EDO.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're charging right now. Usually in the $80, $85
Yeah, it was about
range,
the 80 to 90
like
range,
that.
something in there.
And you get a shit ton of food.
Tons.
And it's great. They're both great off-strip restaurants,
Yep.
you know. And yeah, really at a time, you know, we're getting to the point where locals go into the Strip. There's no need to do it anymore. And I mean, I still love to.
Absolutely.
But,
I have some favorites on the Strip for sure.
yeah, but you know, I'm starting to realize that, you know, I'm almost starting to feel like the Las Vegas Strip is almost intentionally becoming like Times Square is in New York.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you only go there when guests are visiting.
Yes.
You know, it's just because the prices are what they are, the accessibility, the parking, all of that. And, you know, and we can only be like that now because there's so much great shit out in the burbs.
There really is.
You know?
There really is.
And EDO's top of that list of great places to go in the burbs. Do a tasting menu, just, love it.
So EDO is on the corner of Spring Mountain and Jones, near China Mama and District 1, across the street from Fuku Burger and Market 168, which is my favorite Asian market in town. So yeah, get over there when you can. Tiny place, make your reservations, but it is fantastic. We also went with friends to La Casa de Julliette in more north part of Vegas.
Yeah.
We hadn't
Up
been
in
there.
Centennial Hills.
Yeah. So we hadn't been there since they had opened. So it was really fun to go back. There was 4 of us, and we had so much food. We ordered the platter. They used to have like multiple platters. Now it's a platter and you could build yourself. So we had carne asada and this crispy carnitas.
So the taco platters that were sort of they were the center
Sort
of
of
the menu.
yeah. So it comes with tortillas. You can make it into a taco. You could do it. Comes with all the stuff. It comes with like some spicy beans, and it comes with the esquites, which is the corn dish. It comes with pickles of all kinds of, you know, all kinds. So we had that with the carne asada.
And that tends, now probably not for you because I know the way you order like I do, but that is really, I think, the family-friendly cost way to go.
It really
with
is.
those platters.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that you're
like
going to...
$50.
Yeah, you're really going to get a bargain. It'll serve like 3 people, maybe 4, you know, and that's definitely the way to go.
Absolutely. And so there were 4 of us, and so we did have some extras, and that's where this platter really came in as the centerpiece. So we had the carne asada, the crispy carnitas braised in orange, super tasty, super tender. We got extra of the corn esquitas because I love that dish so much. And then, of course, you had to get it with the bone marrow. So, you know, you scrape that marrow bone into the corn, mix it up, save the bone for your dog if you have a dog. We tried the queso fundido this time. I hadn't had it before. I really like it because it's laid out on one of those flat sizzling platters.
Yeah, I had
so
one
the
of those
bottom
last
gets
time
nice
I
and
was in
crispy.
there. Yeah, you get that nice brown on the bottom of the
it was
cheese.
so good.
And yeah, actually, Chef came over and like scraped it off for me.
Yeah.
We did a video of him like kind of slowly scraping that up. It's so good. If you like burnt cheese and crispy cheese,
oh my God.
man, you need to go up to Centennial Hills, go to Casa de Julliette, and get that queso fundido.
Yep. We also started with the crispy, sort of sweet and nutty chicken wings. These were fantastic. Nuts ground into the sauce, kind of like on the coating of the chicken. A little bit of like this almost mole kind of thing happening with all the different spices and things like that, but that really super nutty flavor as well. Loved those. The ceviche with shrimp, lobster, blue crab, snapper, I think it was. Lots of fresh veg, avocado. Really refreshing and delicious. And the sauce was really good too. It wasn't just your typical like lemon juice mix on the bottom of the bowl when we were done. There was this really like flavorful, sort of a brown color sauce. I don't know all the spices in it, but that alone was worth saving to like dip on a tortilla or something like that.
You know, I like, we usually go through this and we both have our notes out here. And my typos are the worst. Rich goes insane over my typos and they're always bad.
Do you like my blueberries crab?
That was mine. But yeah, here we go. According to Gemini's notes, she had ceviche with shrimp, lobster, and blueberries crab. And then snapper.
I don't know why I did that. I was making my notes on my phone on the app, so.
Okay.
And then they brought us out, which I thought was very sweet. They brought us out a Bonello, which is like this really crispy, not a tortilla, but you know, kind of like a tortilla, like fried, crispy, with some homemade chocolate ice cream and some spices and stuff around the plate. And also I had a carajillo with banana cold foam. And I don't like banana flavored things. If I'm going to eat bananas, I want it to be real banana. Can't stand that chemical thing. This stuff was so good because they make everything in house. I was eating the foam off the top of my cocktail with a spoon. It was so thick and so good.
Nice.
So yeah, get over there. And then just one really quick shout out to my husband and a couple of the people we visited. He surprised me on Saturday night. Just told me if it was an opportunity to get dressed up, if I wanted to get dressed up, and he's going to take me out. That's all I knew.
Cool.
So we got in the car. Started heading what I thought was towards F1, and I was like, where are you going? Because this is going to be nuts. And no, we just went downtown. We went to Main Street Provisions and saw Kim and Alan Owens and had a drink and saw some other people that we know. Loved that. We didn't have any food yet because I didn't know what else was going on in the evening. And then he surprised me by taking me to the Smith Center. We went to Handel's Messiah, which I'd never seen live, done by the Las Vegas Philharmonic, and it was absolutely beautiful. And then topped that off with Frankie's Tiki, and just went home and made our own food. And it was just such a fun night. But everybody at Main Street was awesome. We were kind of in a hurry, but we wanted to just stop and take a breather. And then even everybody at Frankie's, it was a little bit quiet, which is surprising, but also with all the stuff happening this weekend, I get it. So yeah, just great service, great people, really enjoyed it, really good cocktail. And yeah, had a great weekend.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you?
How about me? I guess I'm going to start. Let's start with my dinner at Vetri Cocina.
Yeah.
Because, we have coming up a nice long interview with Chef Marc Vetri, and it's always great to chat with him. It was recorded at Vetri Cocina. And right after we finished recording that interview, which you're going to hear in about 15 minutes, I went to dinner. Actually, showed up for my interview, dressed to the nines.
Nice.
In my pinstripe suit, because
right
I'm not going to eat at a place. My normal rule is, because I'm sort of a slob, my normal rule with dressing at a place is if it's a nice restaurant, I make sure to put at least a blazer on, right?
I get it.
And then usually for a Michelin-starred chef, I put a suit on.
Yeah.
Right? But still with a CBGB t-shirt or a Mickey Mouse t-shirt or some shit. But I don't know that Chef Vetri actually has a Michelin star, but I dressed up for that place.
Yeah, baby.
It's gorgeous. It's romantic. Sue joined me after the interview. We had a fantastic time. So you'll hear in the interview, I rave about everything I love about the place, but this meal itself just really lived up to my incredibly high expectations. The service was top notch. The view, of course, was the absolute best in Las Vegas. The room itself is gorgeous. Sue wants to live there. She wants to have a loft up on that top floor, right?
I would totally do that.
Yeah. Every single dish, I feel like every single dish was a masterpiece or close fucking to it, man. Just such great food. We asked the chef to just put together a tasting for us, not the formal tasting menu because we weren't that hungry.
Okay.
And also we'd done a lot of those dishes multiple times in the past.
Yeah.
So we just said surprise us.
That's awesome.
Amazing dish. Began with a trio of appetizers. We had the oysters, which we have had at Aperitivo Hour. They're the oysters in a jardiniere mignonette.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. We did some baked clams, which come with really spicy chorizo, pecorino cheese, and a little lemon aioli. Very good as long as you're down with heat. Really, really good. And then, now here's a dish. If you see this on the menu, order it, but you may not know what it is. It's lomo coto.
Okay.
Right, and that's basically a cooked pork loin. And this is lomo, and so it's very thin slices of cooked pork, almost like in a vitella tonnato style, of really thin sliced. Of course, that's a different protein, obviously, but in that style. And then on top of this, they had foraged mushrooms, which are just so delicious.
Oh, my God.
Hazelnuts and thin slices of Asian pear.
I like it.
And I've got to say, this dish was a total fucking standout for me. It was not the prettiest picture that I took of my meals, and it's not the thing that people are going to necessarily gravitate towards the menu, but it is on the a la carte menu. I really encourage you to give it a shot. It's $25. Just go and sit at the bar and enjoy it with a beverage. You're going to thank me later. Our pasta course, and this is what's interesting about Vetri. A lot of us don't recognize the pasta shapes that he talks about, right? But they're always great. And our pasta course had a tajarin. It's a thin ribbon pasta, and that came in another incredibly rich wild mushroom ragu, right? So we went heavy on the earthiness this meal, a lot of mushroom, and you'll hear more with our meats, but very earthy. And then something I've never had before, our second pasta, doppio doppio ravioli.
Oh, yeah?
Have you done doppio ravioli?
I've not made it, but yes, I've had it. Yes.
Okay, for those who are not familiar, and I don't know that I've ever had it before, maybe I have, but it's just not sticking out. It's a double ravioli. There's 2 pockets of 2 different fillings in each ravioli.
Isn't that fun?
Side by side. And so it's really fun. And in this case, it was carrot on one side and brisket on the other with some pickled red onion. So this was basically a pasta that hit like all the flavor notes of like a rich beef stew kind of, right? So good as the weather's changing right now. So warm and inviting. Really very rich.
Yeah.
Again, everything I had, fucking super rich, okay? And yeah, and not like melty cheese Italian rich, right? Just rich quality. And then for our entrees, man, Sue loves lamb. So she was thrilled. They sent out a pair of gorgeous lamb chops with some cauliflower, bagna cauda, which is sort of a puree, and some artichokes. And then, man, the most tender meat I've ever eaten in my life, okay? This is beef cheeks that had been braised for God knows how fucking long. Served in like little almost cubes of them. And then in between the slices of these beef cheeks, these cubes of a gorgonzola and onion strata. And a strata is sort of like a casserole, I guess.
Yep.
And so these were cut into squares. And so... yeah, just imagine this melt in your mouth, super rich beef with these firm little squares of sharp cheese and onions.
Oh, God.
Fucking amazing. Rock on, chef. Fantastic meal. Way too stuffed for dessert. They sent us out some granite, very light, very palate cleansing. I can't say enough good things about Vetri Cocina. It's one of the very best restaurants that Las Vegas has to offer on every front.
It does.
And it'll change the way you think of Italian cuisine, so check it out.
Oh, love it.
I also dropped by Palate in the Arts District.
Yeah.
The launch of their puppy hour.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, so what this means is that dogs are welcome during their happy hour every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And not only are they happy to seat you with your dog, either on the patio or just inside the sliding doors, they also offer a couple of doggy dishes for the pups. So you can get a puppertini, which is a bowl of chicken bone broth with pumpkin puree, whipped cream, and pumpkin seeds, $5. Or the charcuterie board featuring dog jerky. I don't think that's made of dogs. I'm hoping it's not, because that would be kind of weird. But dog jerky, seasonal fruits and vegetables, and a peanut butter pumpkin puree. And look, if Ziggy Stardust, my little pit bull puppy, was less neurotic, I would love to bring him there. But I'm happy to just go and watch other people hang with their dogs, because I love dogs.
I'm totally taking Isla there.
So I totally loved it. I also spoke to Chef Sterling Buckley about Puppy Hour.
We actually do Puppy Hour Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for happy hour. What we want to do is just, we know there's a lot of dogs in the Arts District, so we have our little charcuterie boards, we call them, and then also we have a like a doggy style cocktail, and we just want people to feel welcome to bring their animals and have a good time.
And I hit 2 or 3 previews of holiday pop-ups this past week, including, as we said, Flanker at Mandalay Place. I was at Silverton's Shady Grove Lounge, Stray Pirate in the Arts District. We're saving all of that for next week, so I'm going to skip it today. I didn't do a lot of F1. Apparently, I was not cool enough to get invited to a lot of the really cool parties. Luckily, I no longer judge my self-worth by what events I get invited to. Even if I did, I wasn't a total wallflower this weekend. I managed to score an invitation to one very cool event at Resorts World. It was Indulge, the Race Week edition, curated by our friend from Los Angeles, industry only. Our friends from Los Angeles, industry only. And by that, I mean my friend Andy Wang, who is one of the principals over there. You may remember industry only and Andy Wang from World's 50 Best Restaurants time. They organized events at Wynn's Revelry Festival, and they also organized events at Resorts World during the Indulge Festival. They generally bring top L.A. restaurants to Las Vegas for special events, and I will always at least try to get on one of their guest lists, because the man behind it, Andy Wang, I've known him since his days writing for Food and Wine. I don't know if he still writes for them. He may or may not. He was a contributor to the very first Neon Feast survey, and I hope he'll share more picks in future surveys. But this time around, he brought LA hotspots Camphor, Chimelier, Holy Basil, Osby, Prince Street Pizza. Not that impressive, because I have one 2 minutes from my house here.
Don't we have one here?
But hey, they're still good. They're still good. I'm glad to see them out there. Not everybody has 1 2 minutes from their house. And Tacos 1986. And then also Dorsati Caviar Bumps. So, look, this was a really fun event. It was another one of those dine-arounds. Vegas does this. You go out to a pool. Everybody sets up in the cabanas. They serve you their food. Now, if I'm going to be totally honest, the lines were long.
Okay.
And it was a very crowded event.
Yeah.
The number, a lot of people I know were very happy that they limited only to a handful of select, very excellent restaurants.
Yeah.
And I do think that was good. But I got to tell you, I'm a spoiled bitch. I don't like waiting in lines, man.
Yeah.
And I'll wait on the line to get in the door. But once I get, and really, I bitch a lot about that, but I do it quietly because I don't want to be that guy who's trying to get in the front of the line. But then once I'm in the door, like waiting on lines again for each dish. So there were a few things that I just could not see. The line to get those dry-aged fish hand rolls was all the way down the steps and around the pool and all that kind of shit. So I didn't get that. I didn't get into camphor because they were having a really hard time keeping the burgers coming. One of the problems with these things is always, for every dine around, this is not specific to these guys, is it can just be tough to keep the food there. Not everybody cooks everything right there in their cabana. So a lot of times you got people coming in with trays, of like the food. And in a really super crowded event, this was just super, super packed. So I would say maybe a bigger space next time would make this just a touch more fun. But I had a fantastic time.
That's awesome.
I really keep your eyes open for industry only. In L.A., I think most of their stuff is done just for people in the industry. But when they come to Vegas, it's usually for festivals, and it's always a great taste of what's going on in L.A. And I spoke to Andy Wang about it. So here's our conversation.
I mean, it's not industry only anymore because it's for the public, obviously. And all this really is, it's like no shade to Vegas. I love Vegas food. LA from high end to low end's got some of the best restaurants in America. And maybe it's the best food city in America right now. Maybe it has been for years. And we brought every end of it. There's tacos, there's Korean fried chicken. We're doing caviar bumps and dry-aged fish hand rolls. The fanciest burger you can get at a restaurant right now. We've got all of it. And we just wanted to be part of Race Week in Vegas. And I've been to a lot of the food events this week. I know you have too, Al. I mean, I feel like ours is pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, man. And this is, of course, the second or third event of yours I've been to because you were doing a lot during World's 50 Best, right? So how frequently do you come to Vegas for events, and how frequent will it be in the future?
We're getting asked to do a lot, and obviously there might be a different version of World's 50 or North America 50 or whatever. So if and when that happens, I think we'll activate at some of the same casinos that we were at last time, one of them being Resorts World, obviously. But as you know, we also helped launch a food festival with Wynn called Revelry. That one was fun. There are a lot of our LA chefs there, including Leeway, the dry-aged fish guy, who's here at Resorts World today. So if the right opportunity comes up, we'll do it. But in a way, we're here already. You can go eat Leeway's fish every single day. It's at Delilah. It's at the Durango. It's at Fontainebleau. So in a way, it's like we're here all the time.
And then do you do events in LA that people could come out for?
They're mostly for the industry, but we have some surprises where we're going to do a couple open to the public ones in the next year or two.
Where can people follow you?
Industry Only LA on Instagram.
And then on Sunday, I dropped by Main Street Provision to kill some time before my Straight Pirate interview. I love their happy hour menu at Main Street Provisions. It's small but delicious. Dishes priced at just $8. We did it once again with some old favorite dishes and some new tries. So we did the trio of oysters, a delicious slider of the day with fries. This time was prime rib with cheese and caramelized onions. And what they call, first time I've had this one, a dirty martini dip.
It's so good.
Everybody's doing dirty martini flavored stuff these days. I had a dirty martini salad at Diner Ross not that long ago at the Link, and this is a dirty martini dip. I was told they got a bunch of olives one time delivered that they couldn't use for what they wanted them for, so they decided to make this. So, I mean, look, it's basically blue cheese with olive brine, gin-soaked olives, and rye toast. By the way, the choice of rye toast with that's perfect. Those rye seeds really work with that sharp and that saltiness of everything. And again, those are $8 a dish. And, of course, there are a lot of other great cocktails during that. So I would always say go back to Main Street Provisions in the Arts District. They're fucking fantastic. And then just give you a shout out on my becoming a fat pig by eating dessert. What's going on here? Because I haven't started taking any Ozempic or anything. I'm still out of control. Crave cookies I've been telling you all about.
Yeah,
So look,
yeah.
I've come to the conclusion that what you want is their peanut butter s'mores campfire s'more. Peanut butter campfire s'mores cookie. That's the one you guys all want to go and try.
All right.
Okay? That's the one you're going to like. Because other ones have been hit and miss for me so far.
Yeah.
But that's the fucking one that,
I might have
go
to
back
get
to.
one.
And then Salt and Straw, I did not do their Thanksgiving flavors
I
this year
remember that,
because I've
yeah.
had them before. But they've got some Christmas flavors out in conjunction with The Rock's new movie.
Oh, right.
So one day this week, I picked up a pint of one of their Christmas flavors, and it's basically cookies with eggnog. So
Okay.
a bunch of different kind of Christmas cookies crumpled up into an eggnog ice cream.
All right.
So it's fucking good.
It sounds really good.
Fucking good. You
I love
want
me
it.
some eggnog.
And that is about it for me this week.
Coming up in the news, Solamente Pizza's new location is now open, and we have an opening date for China Mama at Palace Station. But first, Al sits down with Chef Marc Vetri at Vetri Cocina atop the Palms. This is Food and Loathing.
So I am here with what must be the greatest view in all of Las Vegas, top floor of the Palms in Vetri Cocina, looking out directly from the end table, directly over the Las Vegas Strip. And this is one of my absolute favorite views in the city, and I'm here to enjoy it because I have Chef Marc Vetri, who is in town and has been kind enough to chat with me.
What's not to love about this view? Come on. It's amazing. I mean, you get to see everything. You get the mountains. You get the, what's it called? The stadium over there. You get everything. You get a little bit of the sphere. You get the airplanes going out. You get the airplanes coming in. Helicopters are like flying by here all the time also. It's a little scary. They get a little close, a little too close.
So when they were showing you this space, when you were thinking of coming out to Las Vegas, I've got to think that seeing this space made a difference. Did it?
Oh, huge difference. Yeah, I wasn't, they asked, I was, obviously, I've had a restaurant for a lot of years now. And I've been asked in the early sort of years, to open up something out here, and I've stopped out and looked, and I've seen large rooms with 250 seats and everything, and I was just always like, nah, not interested, and then this thing was offered, and I was like, yeah, I'll kind of stop out and look at it. You want me to hold that, or you look like,
No. Yeah, I know. He's noting that I don't have a mic stand here, so I'm back and forth with the mic. We're doing it handheld. We're doing it old school, man.
Old school. Here we go. So I was just, so I was offered this, and I sort of was flying out here, and I was like, I'm going out to Vegas for the weekend, but I'm just going to hang out. I'm not opening up a restaurant there. And I walked in, and I remember riding up the elevator, and this was the old Alizé, the old Alizé, and I just looked at the room, and I was like, wow, this is a small little restaurant with like 80 seats that I could make something really, really amazing here.
And by way of comparison, Vetri Cocina in Philadelphia seats about how many people?
About 35 to 40. Yeah.
So this is big.
Yeah, but still, I also had other restaurants that had 130 seats, that had 90 seats. So I mean, the 100 seat mark is not that large. It's kind of average. I mean, so that's not overwhelming. So I just saw the room, saw the skyline. Look, airplane. That one's getting a little close. And I just kind of saw the skyline, and I was like, holy moly, this is amazing. I gotta, and then we started figuring it out.
And the rest is history. So at this point, what is it, 6 years that you've been in Las Vegas?
Yeah, 2018. So yeah, we opened up in November 2018, and yeah.
And now, of course, you have 3 restaurants currently in Las Vegas, but this, I think it's safe to say, is your flagship locally.
Sure. Well, same thing. Back. Like out east also. Vetri's mothership always. Vetri, wherever it is, mothership. So this is the mothership here. It's the anchor, and then the other restaurants, they're awesome also. Those Osteria Fiorella. amazing, and Fiorella. But yeah, this is kind of mothership.
Yeah, and it's so gorgeous. We will talk a little bit about the other restaurants because I want to just touch on them before we finish. But let's talk about this place. I was doing a little research to see what I may have missed on you since the last time we saw each other, and I came across a Philadelphia Inquirer article reviewing Vetri in Philadelphia earlier this year on saying you were 25 years old. And I could not believe, first of all, that was 25 years in Philly.
Well, yeah, now we're actually 26 years old, but yeah. Yeah, we were 25 years old. And which article did you read? Was it one from years ago?
No, I'll tell you. It was the writer was in there and said M. Night Shyamalan was at the next table.
Yeah, Laban. Yeah, so that was the most read. He hadn't like reviewed us in years, so it was our large anniversary. So he wanted to write us up again. So,
and you got the highest rating that the Philadelphia Inquirer gets again, which you've always gotten since the restaurant's been open, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no ratings now, so they're not like rating it. But he like wrote a really nice article. I feel like if they were handing out stars, which they're not anymore because of the whole virus here and everything, and they sort of felt weird about it. Who knows? But yeah, so now they're just writing a review without the stars and everything. But yes, it felt like reading it. It was, still really good.
It doesn't get old getting all of these accolades after all these years.
No, it never gets old because the fact of the matter is we're not written about a lot. We're when you're a legacy restaurant, they don't. You guys want to write about the new stuff, the new chef, the hottest thing. That it's not. I am never the hottest thing anymore, in all aspects of that word. So we'll get. They were like, oh, it's fucking 25 years. I guess we got to review them again. Yeah. So it's never old. It's always nice, to get. To get emails, to get written about, to get more. For me, it's the letters, it's the emails, the messages that hey, chef, I just want to let you know, had my anniversary, had my birthday, had my thing. It was just a magical night, and that's I could honestly, the reviews where they're like the salt cod was like this, and this was and I love the texture and blah. I couldn't give a shit about that stuff. It's more, I want someone who eats here and is saving up or celebrating their anniversary, and they're like, you just made my anniversary special for me. It's not they're like 15 years from now when they're like, hey, remember where we had our 15th anniversary? Oh, we ate at Vetri. What a fun evening that was. They're not gonna remember oh, I had this onion dish. No, they're not gonna remember what they had. They're gonna remember how we made them feel that evening, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, and I think and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole with you, but I think that's a problem with our Chopped and Top Chef culture, where we see people judging food, and for some reason we think that's what we're supposed to do, is dissect it. And I'll tell you, I eat at the best restaurants in the world. Very few dishes could I tell you what I had where. I just remember the experience I had at the restaurant.
Exactly, yeah, and it is a rabbit hole, and I'm not going to head down it and make more writers mad at me because I have a habit of doing that. But I'm just rooting for everybody, and I just love making memories for folks. That's all.
And I'm sure a lot of great memories have been made in this room that we're sitting in right now. as I was reading that Philadelphia Inquirer article, that writer had mentioned things like the split of pasta that had been on the menu, all those years, and I recognized it because I've had it here, right? And so it got me thinking, when you are such a legacy restaurant and you're bringing that legacy to a new city, I guess the big question is, how much of that menu are you free to change up seasonally, and how much of it just has to be dialed in because people are going to a Marc Vetri's flagship and they want the signature dishes?
Well, honestly, it works out well with us because most of our signature items aren't really seasonal. Spinach gnocchi, onion, the onion crepe, foie gras pastrami, the baby goat, the almond tortellini, fettuccine with wild boar ragu. We have probably 6 or 7 items that are have never left the Vetri menu, and they never will. And whether it's here or whether it's in Philly, we usually have those always on the menu available, and then the rest of the menu is kind of seasonal things that maybe we have every year that season, but they're known as seasonal items. But those items, and gnocchi, the goat, those are all all year, always. We have to have them on the menu.
Cool. And because a lot of people, there's 2 different kinds of diners. There's a lot of us who have come here several times, and we may not necessarily, want to eat the same dishes. Sometimes we do. Sometimes you come just for that dish. Some people always want to try the new things. So I guess what I'm asking is, how much of those signature dishes, those dishes that really define you, what percent, how are they scattered between, say, tasting menu and the a la carte menu? Do you have to do the tasting menu if you want those signature items, or, how's it spread out on the menu?
We're also not, one of those guys that if you order this menu, you have to get this menu. You can look at this menu. You can look at the regular menu and say, oh, you know what, I want to order this, but I really wanted the gnocchi and it's not on this. We'll make it for you. It's not the end of the world, I
see, you got to see the look on his face because he's like, yeah, what the hell? We'll make it for you, whatever. But people are so intimidated by dining at this level that they feel, a lot of people are afraid to talk to the waiter,
I don't know. I sort of think they ask. I think it's how the service, if this server's oh, let me ask the chef, I'm not sure about that, but they're usually it is I'm sure it's not going to be a problem, let me go ask the chef, and then you make whoever is asking that feel relaxed about it. It's not
No, that's awesome, and that's hospitality, of course. That's the business that you are in, and, Las Vegas does hospitality well. You clearly do hospitality well. I don't want to always ask you about the same questions that we've talked about in the past, but I do know there will be new people listening, and, we've spoken about how this is an elevated Italian restaurant. This has a lot of dishes that people are not going to be familiar with, a lot of names of pastas that people may never have read before, and, again, at a very high level. And Las Vegas didn't have many of those restaurants when you came here. They did not have a lot of elevated Italian. Italian tended to be either, several different types of casual, but, not really this elevated. How did the local market and the visitors take to it? Was it a while for them to catch on that this wasn't going to be your linguine and clams, which, of course, by the way, are great at other restaurants?
I don't know. I sort of think they understood it right away. You already have. I don't know whether they're newer than us or older than us, but like Esther's Kitchen. We ate there last night. It was amazing. They have all of the noodles with the weirder names or this and that. Strega. Same. So there's a lot of restaurants now that are similar that are really amazing. I think maybe we sort of helped, move that narrative a little bit forward. But I like anywhere. I mean, hell, when I opened up in 1998 back in Philly, they were like, "This isn't Italian. Where's the meatball? Where's the eggplant parmesan?" They would like walk in, look at the menu, and like walk out, and they'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, this is Italian. Actually, it's kind of. I lived in Italy. I learned all these things in Italy, but your meatball. Which, listen, I love a good meatball as much as anyone loves a good meatball. My father sells meatballs. I mean, listen, I love meatball, but that's kind of American Italian, if you really want to get into it. But, so I think that there's room for old school Italian and new school Italian and fine dining Italian and all Italian, because it's the best food in the world anyway, right? I mean, what are we talking about? Italian food.
Absolutely, man. I love that you mentioned Esther's, because I saw the photos that you posted of you and your team dining at Esther's Kitchen. And I love that you threw some props out to La Strega as well. I'm guessing those are a couple of your favorite restaurants locally. Any others you want to throw a shout out to that you really like?
God, now you put me on the spot. You know what? If you're looking for food from Italy, honestly, I ate at. I think last year I ate at what's it called? The Amalfi restaurant, Flay's restaurant over there. It's incredible. That's really, really amazing as well. I mean, there's a ton of other restaurants. I'm on the spot right now, so they're not like hitting me right in my head.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. Okay, but one thing is, this place is so gorgeous, and a lot of times you want to come for the tasting menu or a really big experience. But I think something we should mention to people, because it's what gets me up here most frequently, is that you have that aperitivo hour at the bar. Could you tell people a bit about that?
Yeah, we just have like snacks on there, things that you can just kind of have. We have some noodles on there, some little like snack food. We have some really awesome cocktails. It's just a fun kind of happy hour here. I don't like to say happy hour, but that's what it is. It's aperitivo is the Italy sort of name for happy hour, But you stop up here while the sun is kind of setting. You have a little bit of wine, you have an Aperol spritz, you have a little snack, you have a little noodle, you have a little this, a little that. I mean, there's not a better way to start the night.
No, absolutely not. And great drink prices. A bunch of wines for, I think, $12, a bunch of cocktails for $12, a bunch of beers for $8. So, it's a way to go to a world-class restaurant without breaking the bank, take in the view, and I just absolutely love doing that. So I want to make sure we tell people about that. You have, in this restaurant, a new head chef running the kitchen day to day. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Jason, yeah. He was over. He actually started with us over at the Osteria Fiorella, and he moved over here about six months ago. I mean, he's a Philly guy, so we love him obviously, and he's just really been taking the reins here and really just kind of learning all of our style food. He wasn't like that well versed in like food from Italy, but he's really he loves it, and he's like really sort of went full on just learning, and he's just been a really wonderful asset, with starting at the restaurant.
Okay, Chef, so obviously we've talked a lot about this restaurant. It's fantastic. I love it. It's one of my top 5 in Las Vegas, best view in Las Vegas, one of the most romantic restaurants in Las Vegas. But it's not your only restaurant in Las Vegas. You have 2 others, and, of course, Osteria Fiorella out at the Red Rock Resort, which to me is the most mainstream Italian restaurant of your places here in Las Vegas. And then you've got Fiorella Pasta Bar out at Durango, which is less than 5 minutes from my house. So I get takeout from there, and I absolutely love it. And that is, it's in a food court, but it's still elevated, smart food. Could you tell people about the Pasta Bar?
Sure. Well, we have one of these in, Philly, obviously, and that's where the owners sort of went there, loved it, thought it would really fit well in this whole. Hey, it's a food court, but it's kind of like an elevated food court. There's some really awesome stalls in there.
Yeah, and you actually have you're set back from the main court, so people don't have to take their food out into the court. You actually sit at a table or sit at the bar.
It is a restaurant. You can actually sit there. You can actually sit up at the eating counter. It's really awesome, and there's like 4 apps, and there's a whole bunch of noodles, and there's the rigatoni sausage ragu, the rigatoni, the cacio e pepe, all of the staples, and then there's obviously some other things, some interesting things. Egg, there's shrimp scampi, linguine. We're always messing around with new sauces, new shapes and stuff. But it's just fun stopping in just to have some noodles, a glass of wine, maybe a salad, maybe a little mozzarella, have an espresso.
That mozzarella and carrozza, first of all, it's so delicious, and it's also one of the most beautiful dishes to Instagram, I think.
It's a really special one, and we started with it on the menu back east, and we always like to kind of switch the menu out a little bit, so sometimes that's off of the menu. When we take that off of the menu, oh my God, everyone goes nuts. They're like, "Why did you take that off? You should leave that on always." Well, it's always on the menu here, but it's not always on the menu back in Philly, and they get mad, man. They get mad.
For people that don't know mozzarella and carrozza, I always say it's kind of the elevated, the grown-up version of mozzarella sticks. Exactly. I don't know anything at all about its history. Is that a traditional Italian dish, or is that something that Italian Americans came up with?
I think it's a traditional thing. I actually learned it over there. I think it's very specific to a region, but I'm not sure where it's actually from. But it is Italian, not American Italian.
And another great dish you do over there, and I've had it done 2 different ways. I've had 2 different types of lasagna, I should say, right? You do the lasagna over there, and I have a hard time describing it to people. I described it on this show a couple times, and I'm always tough. But it doesn't feel like it was made in a pan like lasagna is. It's like sheets of pasta that are individually and laid out. Could you explain how it's different than what Grandma made?
Yeah, I mean, this is more like you could actually name it like an open lasagna, where you're just kind of laying one big sort of sheet, and then you're laying stuff on it, and then you're laying another sheet on top. You're laying more stuff on it, so it's kind of loose. It's almost like an open ravioli, but it's just layers of flavor and noodles. So we name it lasagna, but. Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I liked it when you did it with the little leek dust on top. I liked it the other day. I had it with eggplant. It was good. So it's fantastic. I love having you guys that close to my house. You're also, I believe, involved with bringing Federal Donuts to Las Vegas, right? Federal Donuts and Chicken over at Red Rock?
Michael Solomonov, he used to work for me years ago, and he's one of my best friends. And my partner, he's there. He's actually the CEO for them. So it's all kind of one, happy family where kind of everyone knows everything's going on. We made the intro, so I don't know that I would actually say I had a hand in it, but yes, I'm kind of involved, but not,
Oh, it's nice. Another taste of Philly, Federal Donuts and Chicken was not a thing during the years I lived right outside of Philly, but all my friends, when I go back there now, that's just like they're just kind of obsessed with those donuts.
Yeah, they're really good. And more importantly, the chicken's sandwiches are amazing. Yeah, that's actually what I like even more.
So with having the 3 restaurants, Osteria, Fiorella Pasta Bar, and this one, and they all hit sort of different niches, right? In that in the level of formality, in the price range that they are, in the level of accessibility and familiarity. Is that are you consciously setting out to just cover, every type of diner that might want Italian food in Vegas?
No, I mean, it just happened that way. I mean, remember, we only had this. We weren't going to open up the Osteria, and that just kind of happened when the whole world shut down. They had a restaurant that was open over there. So they asked us to move everybody here there to open up a restaurant, family friendly. So. But that just happened, and then we weren't even going to reopen this, but then that happened. So, and then the Fiorella thing just kind of happened. It's all just kind of happened, and there wasn't any master plan to open up all these restaurants in Vegas. I never even thought I'd have one, let alone three.
No, but I mean, you're doing what the big guys do. When you look at Ramsey, or when you look at Bobby, or all kinds of people, they do something in every price range, right? So it kind of makes sense to do that and be able for people to either aspire. They eat at your more accessible places, and then they aspire to come to a place like this.
Well, there is kind of something for everyone, Fiorella's more just kind of stop in, have a bowl of pasta, have a glass of wine, lunch or dinner, friends night out, whatever, family night. The Osteria is more of family friendly, or you have a big meeting, you want to bring a whole bunch of people. You have some really nice wines, have some noodles, some wood fired, some wood-fired, things also, maybe some meat or fish. And then, but this is, sort of this celebration restaurant. You have an anniversary, you have a birthday, or, you just want to have a night out and look at the city view.
If correct me if I'm wrong, you have a couple pizza places in Philadelphia as well, right?
One pizza place, Pizzeria Salva, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any plans to bring a pizza place to Vegas?
None yet, but I'm all ears. I'm all ears.
Cool. As I sit up here tonight, I remember in the past you've done a lot of guest chefs in here in the past, and even live music in here. I've seen you play guitar in here. Any plans to do those types of events here at the Palms again in the future?
We might. I mean, honestly, we when we reopened, we were just kind of focused on reopening. We had new owners here with whole new things. So we really wanted to get it right. So now that we're actually here for a few years, we'll start to think about those things.
Well, Chef, man, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. You see, I dressed up for you today because I'm dining here tonight. I am excited, and I would not dine here not dressed perfectly. So thanks for your time, and, yeah, congratulations on everything.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, brother.
So, of course, you're hungry after a hard day of work or a hard night of play. This is Vegas, after all. So where do you go? What do you want? What's left in your wallet? What's left in your credit? The answer is 2 words: Neon Feast. It's the app that will get you to the best place no matter what. The mood you're in, the budget you have, the cuisine you want to eat, the hotel, the neighborhood, the town you're in, or the one you want to go to. It's all there on the Neon Feast app. Download it. Tell it your every desire. I mean your every food desire. And then get satisfied. And again, we're talking about food. It's the Neon Feast app, or online at neonfeast.com.
It is time for the news. Solamente Pizza is now open for business in its new Sahara Avenue location. I just heard from our friend Ethan Spiezer, and he confirms they are open Tuesdays through Saturday. Now, you remember we were in there.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the summer we went in and gave us a little tour of the space, and it's fucking huge.
It's amazing.
And, you want to talk, Solamente Pizza, they started a Vegas test kitchen.
Yep.
Then they briefly were over in Town Square in a shared space.
Yep.
And they've been really trying to get their own thing going on. They have this style of pizza, and I always singe on the fucking name, but very experimental, coming out of Italy right now.
Yeah.
And it's super aerated dough and just like ridiculous. I don't know.
The bubbles he was showing us in that crust when we were there were just insane.
Yeah.
And
then the name of whatever the style is, and forgive me for not knowing this one. I'm really sorry, Ethan. But it means like raft, right? And it looks, because it's so wide along the outside, the corniche or whatever you call that outside of a pizza is just huge and fluffy and airy, and then like as if you were in a raft on the ocean, and then like the toppings and the sauce and everything sit on the little inside, right?
I love it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic pizza. It's a true original in Las Vegas, and you gotta love it. This is a guy that's a school teacher. He is doing this still. He still teaches at school.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he's doing this thing on his own. He got his start. Of course, props to Jolene Menina and Vegas Test Kitchen, who have given so many fantastic restaurants a start.
Yeah.
You guys want to go out and support Solamente Pizza. If you want to support homegrown, you support Solamente
Absolutely.
Pizza. This is homegrown, totally original. It's fucking pizza. Everybody loves pizza. There's no reason you should not be going over to West Sahara. It's in that same complex that has payments. Thank you, and everything. Bunt cake is in there, and then Sushi Man is in there.
I believe there's a Sushi Man in there. Yeah, so it's on Sahara, just east of Durango.
Yes,
and you can see the sign from the street, so you can't miss it. It's the old La Belle Terre Bakery, I believe. If that was your thing at the time, I remember going there for lunch. But it's a really fun space too. They've brought in some like graffiti artists and really kind of made it someplace where you want to hang out. There's a really cool vibe. And I also just want to say shout out to Ethan because he got married recently.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Congratulations, man. And, we spoke with him over the summer when he gave us a tour of the new space. Like I said, it's huge, has a huge kitchen facility. Among the things he told us, and you can go back and get episode like 170 or something is when I think we're talking to him. But anyway, he told us how he's hoping to remedy some issues he had at his Town Square location, also with an eye towards the future.
We're very hopeful that the pizzas are going to really take off here. Our biggest limitation thus far has been not having enough product on the shelves, basically, enough pizzas in our coolers to satisfy the needs of the Vegas populace and the tourists coming through for our pizza. So the hope is that not only are we now stacked and stocked and ready to, just deliver the pizzas to whoever comes through our doors, but eventually, we can branch out, and if we open up a second location, we have our dough ball production already here, so we can now service more than one location with this giant, what was bakery space turned into pizzeria.
And Chef Adam Sobel will host a takeover dinner at Amari in Uncommons on Monday, December 16th. I've been a fan of Adam's work for years.
Oh, yeah.
Bradley Ogden, to Guy Savoy, to RM Seafood, short-lived project he and Dave Varley had over at the Luxor for a little while by LAX. He made a beet salad for me there with beet marshmallows in it.
Oh, wow.
But I digress. Anyway, you've also probably seen him on a bunch of TV shows. He's done that whole celeb TV circuit. Most recently, he spent a lot of time with the Mina Group, opening restaurants for them all over the place, developing concepts, helping Michael write his most recent book, Chef Michael Mina. He is now out doing some other stuff. He's a fantastic chef. His reputation among other chefs is pretty sterling, which is, I assume, is why Chef Allen is allowing him to take over the reins at Amari for the night, right? This evening is being called the Gambler Takeover, and Sobel is promising to take guests back to Las Vegas's golden era with Sinatra-era tunes, holiday classics, and a $125 prefix menu that will include focaccia, chopped salad, bacon-wrapped scallops, tuna tartare, a bloomin' caviar onion.
Oh, my God.
Choice of entrees, prime rib, salmon Wellington, or butternut squash gratin, and, of course, dessert. So reserve your space now or buy your ticket now over at 7 Rooms. And what else do I have? If you're looking for a heartwarming holiday story with some local foodie flair, I just really wanted to send a shout out to my old friend and coworker Chris Lawrence at the Review Journal. He has a piece in the RJ Magazine's holiday edition about an 87-year-old woman in Henderson who's been running a holiday cookie club for like 45 years and all the drama that goes with it.
Wow.
So it made me fucking laugh, and I love directing people to Chris Lawrence's work. So you can find that at reviewjournal.com or in the RJ Magazine.
Oh,
which
I'm so finding that.
I used to write for that in the day, so I always have much love for the RJ Magazine.
Yeah.
Station Casinos has set December 6th as the opening date for the new China Mama location inside the Palace Station Resort. I was kind of interested in the fact that the press release lists their signature dishes as crispy beef, crispy pork with Mama's special sauce, sliced fish fillet with pickled mustard, dry peppered chicken, and Mapo tofu?
Mapo tofu,
Mapo
yeah.
tofu, okay. It also lists a bunch of delicious sounding chef specials, but one dish not specifically mentioned by name in this huge press release is the Xiaolong Bao.
How?
I mean, I think it's really funny to me because, and I'm sure they serve it, by the way. I'm not questioning whether they're going to have it. But 15 years ago, when I was originally writing about China Mama in books and magazine articles, it was the only place in town that specialized in Xiaolong Bao, a.k.a. soup dumplings. And people were just in love with those, right? They were new to Vegas. I mean, they weren't new to Vegas. Other places in Chinatown had them, but this is where everybody was getting excited about going to see them. They sort of broke them in the Vegas market, right? And now these days you can get fucking Xiaolong Bao everywhere. They've become sort of a staple. Everybody in Vegas knows what they are. And so I guess
I have favorite versions at like different restaurants around town.
Yeah,
they all do them a little bit differently.
Yes. So they didn't even mention it in the press release. I guess they figure like, okay, like, no, everybody knows what they are. We don't have to talk about them. But anyway, very cool. Props to China Mama for introducing those dumplings into the local lexicon. And I truly hope the new location over at Palace Station turns people on to a lot of other new dishes.
That's amazing. You may have heard that Austin's Guest House is coming to Town Square on Las Vegas Boulevard. Well, our friend Emmy Caston has all the details in a new story at Eater Vegas. Among the big takeaways, it's a $9 million project going into the Tommy Bahama space, opening in December. And it will offer, quote, the highest level of food, wine, and spirits paired with in-demand music programming, all under one roof. Just head over to vegas.eater.com for the full story. And if you're listening to this on Black Friday, which is when it drops, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, get your ass over to Azura Wine Bar on Water Street in Henderson. We would tell you that anyway, but this particular weekend, their Friday and Saturday Black Friday sale means 40% off all bottles to go. That's a way to spend a holiday with your family.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to Uncle Bob about politics if I got enough wine.
And that is about it for this week. Thanks you to all of our guests, Marc Vetri, Andy Wang, Sterling Buckley, Ethan Spiezer. I'm Samantha Gemini Stevens for Al Mancini and our engineer, Rich Johnson, wishing you all good eating, boisterous drinking, and a happy holiday season, whatever it is you celebrate. And of course, stay hungry.